In a few minutes, I will insist on a vote to affirm that this proceeding we are about to enter is unconstitutional, that impeachment of a private citizen is illegal and essentially a bill of attainder, and that no sense of fairness or due process would allow the judge in the proceeding to be a partisan Democrat already on favor of the impeachment. A sham, this is. A travesty. A dark blot on the history of our country. Shame! Shame on these angry, unhinged partisans who are putting forth this sham impeachment, deranged by their hatred of the former president. Shame on those who seek blame and revenge, and who choose to pervert a constitutional process while doing so. I want this body on record, every last person here. Is this how you think politics should be?
Do ya? Well, do ya, punk? Tell me. Huh? Tell me, you little filthy animal rubes. Is that how you think this is? Is this supposed to just be Mean Girls forever now? Is that what we're living in? Huh? It's the popular kids or no kids? Is that it? Because that's what this is like. He said mean stuff. He made us look like idiots, and we don't like it. And so now we want him to never come over here and tell us mean stuff again. And that's Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and all these other people's America. Okay? Thin-skinned, pussy little cowards who don't like their feelings hurt, but will hurt yours and crush your futures and stomp your kids out of having any kind of an education just because they got their feelings hurt and they want $12 pint ice creams. That's what it is. That's what this is all about. This is about the nerdy kids who want to be the cool kids who are never the cool kids, and now they got power, and now they don't want to give it up because now they can tell the really cool kids what to do. And that's what we're seeing. This is the America we're in. That's what we want. This is the kind of shit that we're living in. This is cool with you guys? Are you guys fucking kidding me? This is disgusting. And if you're cool with it, you're a sick fucking coward. You're disgusting. We should act better than this. Stop doing this shit. This is worse than high school shit. This is gross. And this is why everybody else is acting gross and is gross. This is the decay of a nation. This is how this happens. Okay? But yeah, what do you expect? You have like Nancy Pelosi and all these people. They're 80 years old. Patrick Leahy, after being sworn in for the impeachment that he's, supposed to be, that even Justice John Roberts won't even preside over, right? He takes the oath and then all of a sudden has to be rushed to the hospital. These are, right? If COVID's supposed to be getting all these old people, but yet they're not dropping down like flies, folks. They're not, right? They're out there, they're breaking their own rules. They're not social distancing. They're not wearing masks. They're not doing any of that. They're going on vacations. They're eating off of your backs, right? They're bringing in all these kinds of people from other nations that are going to be coming in for your jobs while you're sitting at home going, as long as we can do things safely, we got to do things safely. And as long as the local government loves me and it will do nothing to ever hurt me, right? Never. Look what it's doing, right? Just ask the Native Americans, right? Because whatever you allow the government to do to other people, it eventually will do it to you. That's just simple. Ask Geronimo. Ask these people. They'll tell you. Why are you acting like this is all brand new shit? 2 weeks to the curve, right? 12 months in? What the fuck? You guys are still sitting on your fucking fat asses watching Netflix, jacking off, and fucking trying to eat fucking Uber Eats and shit? This is cool with you guys? Just so that these old geezers can be fucking feeling good about themselves? That's cool with you? That's gross. Grow the fuck up, America. Just 5 GOP senators vote Trump impeachment trial is constitutional. The Senate sent a strong signal Tuesday that there are not nearly enough votes to convict President Trump in an impeachment trial when only 5 GOP senators rejected an effort by Senator Rand Paul to declare the looming trial unconstitutional. The vote voted 55 to 45 to set aside Paul's motion, with all but 5 GOP senators siding with Paul. GOP senator, and take note of these folks, okay? Take note of these neocons and these neoliberals and all the other folks that are just want to be elites and just want to live off of the backs of us and everything else, but yet fuck us, right? That's how it is, that right? Take note of this, folks, and write these notes in your little notepad when you're at home watching TV and shit, and right? And that way we can get these losers out of office and actually get winners in there, and we can actually start really winning like Trump said we were supposed to, but we never really did, because these freaking losers were stopping and impeding every little fucking thing. We have to stop that shit. Okay, if you're thinking that you're a Republican or a Democrat, a liberal, or conservative, or Republican, or this or that first, right? Then any other thing, then you're probably either have no life, a loser, or you're in a cult. But I'm not going to tell you to decide. You decide. You can pick whatever one of those three you want to be, right? But unless you call yourself either an American or an individual or a free thinker or shit like that, then you know what I mean? Then what is this? You're probably just going on with the thing, right? Cattle don't rattle, folks. Right? Then, you know what I mean? It's just that simple, man. All right, let's be real. Here we go. We got GOP senators Mitt Romney of Utah, who barely got elected last time and everything, and promised he wouldn't be the carpetbagging neoconservative that he always has been and always will be and everything else, right? Mitt Romney. Ben Sass from Nebraska. Susan McCollins. Lisa Murkowski. Pat Toomey. And there's probably other ones too that we will have to take note of. But we have to. We have to start actually putting in people that actually care about the people, the public service, not the public, and just shitting on all of us like little pigeons and then flying away. It's not cool, folks. Paul, speaking ahead of the vote, warned that he wanted to force his colleagues to go on record, and we should. Everybody should. Say what the fuck you mean and mean what the fuck you say, and you know what? At least be honest about it. If you think this way or that way, be honest about it. Don't hide over these little talking points or anything else. Be real. Be honest about it. That's why most of you guys are going in relationships and everything else, right? And can't even be real. Right? Do you like the bitch or not? Do you just want to get your dick wet or not? Why don't we just be honest? Because that's what this whole thing is. That's why broken people are leading to broken societies, and none of us can ever just fix each other. We all think we're Aunt Andy's toys in Toy Story, but really we're all just Sid's toys, and it's all just actually just leading up to this whole thing, right, of chaos and disorder and everything else. But we think everything is just fine, right? We're all a liberated woman. Ain't that so? I don't think so, folks. Let's get into some other things, right? NBC. Meet the other American who was impeached after and tried after leaving office. Tried meaning a trial in court, right? This is by Chuck Todd, Mark Murray, Carrie Dan, and Melissa Hallsberg. Washington. This is the January 25th, 2 days ago. Washington, at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight, House managers will present a secret article of impeachment against former President Donald Trump for inciting the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol, kicking off a Senate trial whose arguments will start off the week of February 8th, right after the Super Bowl, folks. Several Republicans have coalesced around in the defense of Trump that under the Constitution, you can't impeach and remove someone who's no longer in office because impeachment is to remove the person from office. Otherwise, that's why the whole censure thing would have been more unifying, but they didn't want to go that route, right? Because they're little fucking sissy flaw laws, and they need to get their little thing out of here so that they can't come in, the big bad wolf can't come in and huff and blow their little house down because it's all made of straw, folks, and that's really the truth. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. So quit worshiping these people. You know what I mean? Stop, because there's little, and that's why you're everything else. And it's sickening, folks, for real. You know what I mean? And they get you on these little petty garbage stuff, right? The Kim Kardashian. This is what it is. The Democrat Party is pretty much Kim Kardashian style. Oh, I know, we all saw this, every season of that stuff. Everybody, right? It was on the news all the time. They were throwing it in our face all the time about Khloe and Kourtney all fighting all the time about this, about that, about this. That's America right now. That's Congress right now. And they're 80-something years old, 70-something years old, and they should all be knowing better, acting better, and instilling betterness into the youth, right? Because that's what elders are, right? Elders, we're supposed to be respecting the elders and everything else, right? But elders are acting more like toddlers. So why are we doing any of that, right? And come on, folks. In 1876, as the U.S. House of Representatives was about to vote on articles of impeachment against the Secretary of War, William Belknap, over corruption charges, Belknap walked over to the White House, submitted his resignation letter to President Ulysses S. Grant, and burst into tears. The House still went ahead and impeached Belknap, and the Senate tried him, with the impeachment managers arguing that departing office does not excuse the alleged offense. Otherwise, office holders would simply resign to escape conviction or impeachment. And the Senate voted in 1876 by a 37-29 margin that Belknap was eligible to be impeached and tried even though he resigned from office. Belknap was eventually acquitted, with the Senate failing to muster the 2/3 vote who needed to convict. A significant number of senators believed the Senate lacked jurisdiction to convict him because he no longer held office. The same thing today. History doesn't always repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme, right? So Belknap proceeded. So the Belknap precedent is instructive. Nearly 150 years ago, and they're saying that Biden wants to take us in the 70s. That's all these people are doing. They're trying to build a better tomorrow by going back to the past, right? That's Neanderthalism, folks. Stop doing that. Stop believing that shit's cool. A majority of senators voted that you could impeach and try a former office holder for high crimes and misdemeanors committed while in office. This is a slippery slope. Do we really want to go down that road with other presidents, or how about Nancy Pelosi for the dereliction of duty, for not having her district being well, and she's profiting off of everything else? How about and for having knowing that Swalwell was sleeping with a spy and probably selling American secrets? How about the one knowing that Dianne Feinstein had a spy for 20 years and didn't do anything, or Ossoff in the spy? How about all that kind of stuff? How about for inciting riots, saying that there should be unrest everywhere, and maybe there will be soon? I mean, you guys are saying the exact same stuff and wanting the exact same stuff, but you guys are too narrow-sighted and blinded by your disdain for this one little guy over here that was just hurting your feelings, that you guys can't see that you guys are guilty of the exact same things. So if you're in a glass house, what should you be doing? Throwing stones, and that's all you guys are doing. So stop being a hypocrite and actually start working for the American people. We're seeing how quickly you guys can do things when it regards yours, like the impeachment, the $5,000 pay raise you guys gave yourself during the beginning of the pandemic, and everything else. But yet when it comes to actually helping Americans and the people that voted for you, you don't do shit. You move like molasses. And this is not the way that America is supposed to be, right? That's why every generation is supposed to have their own little thing. That's the libertarian mindset that our founders put in place, and not this way, where the elites get everything and the workers and everybody else gets shit. That's not the way this works. What is an insurrection, people? I've already told you, right? But an insurrection, if you look it up, Google will tell you. Why don't you always use Google? Well, because Google's supporting the left, so we're going to use their own things against them, right? Revolting against civil authority, an act of instance of revolting against civil authority or an established government, right? Summer of Love, Antifa, right? You have BLM. What do we want? Dead cop and everything else, right? They're doing it. They burned down Ferguson and all these other cities, right? During the impeachment, during the inauguration of Joe Biden, you had Antifa protesting in Seattle and in Portland and in Tacoma, where I'm at, right? But yet it's just the right wing and the insurrection, right? No, they're only doing it because they want to validate this way. So you're not talking about the voter fraud. You're not talking about the way that they were fucking off everything, right? So now we're moving. It's just Overton window, moving it over here, moving. Let's just keep on, and it's moving fast and fast and fast and fast. So you're not catching this kind of. Oh yeah, we got to do it like that. That's why you guys got to stop and think, silently pray, get your own street clean, so that you guys can call the other people out, and they're not like, oh yeah, well you got mud on your face and we got mud on our face, so it's all okay, right? No, we got to all stop rolling in the mud like swine. This is the Boston Herald Courier. Their view. The 1876 case that complicates Trump's impeachment. On the morning of March 2nd, 1876, the Secretary of War, which used to be which is the Department of Defense now. It used to be called the Secretary of the Department of War, right? Because we used to actually just, not just defend things, right? But after, if you notice, when we went to the Department of Defense, we went to war more. The Secretary of War, William Bicknip, appeared without warning at the White House, frantically insisting that he needed to see President Ulysses S. Grant right away. In the simpler times, the president could not imagine any national security reason why the Secretary of War would need to see the president so urgently. I cannot now, Grant said, but when I return, I will. Grant had an appointment to have his portrait painted, or picture taken these days, and that was clearly more important to him. The White House steward urged Grant not to turn the Secretary of War away. Oh, Mr. President, do see him before you go. He is in some trouble and looks very ill. Grant reluctantly added to the request as the Pulitzer Prize-winning historian Ron Chernow of Hamilton fame describes the scene of his biography. Grant, Belknap, was wildly discomposed. First Lady Julia Grant called him deathly pale. Almost like I look because I'm in the Pacific Northwest now, and they got me looking like Team Edward, right? I mean, I used to not be like this, bright like this, like Casper looking translucent. It's crazy. The Belknap told the president he wanted to resign immediately. Do not hesitate, Mr. President. For God's sake, do not hesitate. Grant was astonished, although perhaps he could not have been. That morning, he had been tipped off by his attorney general that there had been bribery allegations against Kemp. Which Grant had difficulty to believe, partly because the political naive Grant had difficulty believing any of his political appointees were engaged in any wrongdoing. It appears that Belknap was accused of having bribes, taking bribes while in office, and that's why and some of his other people were finding out, and Grant kind of knew about it, but didn't want to believe it, right? And so. Which was actually a lot of money back then, but let's just say the payments coming out of court order. Almost $480,000 in today's money, so that's a lot. That's a paycheck of a president. So, and that's why, okay. But here, we'll go to the end right here. One question with Trump's case is whether if he really incited an insurrection, where's the tape saying he did so? Wouldn't the proper venue not be political trial in the U.S. Senate, but an actual criminal trial in the U.S. District Court? In the case of Belknap, he did indeed get indicted after he left office, but the charges was later dismissed. You know what I'm saying? And we have bigger things to worry about, like the pandemic, getting people back to work. I've lost almost nearly 40 pounds during this pandemic. Okay, like really, I have to walk. I mean, come on. This is bigger things that we have to do. We have to open up America and everything else. I mean, we're getting emaciated. We're dying out here and everything else. And all they care about is their little, my feelings don't hurt, my little super ego, my narcissism, and blah blah. That's all they really care about, folks. They don't care about any of us. They don't. All right. But I do. I love you, America. All right. Same bad time, same bad soup. Don't be a foolie, be a hoolie.